Alright, so before we begin, we finally know not only the day in which Pokemon Unite is released, but the time. Since I have work tomorrow, this is kind of a bad thing though. It looks like at 3 a.m. EST, Pokemon Unite is officially going to be open in North America. I don't know if the servers are decided by your Switch or if it's by the selected region, but nonetheless, it's coming. I'm excited. So yeah, on to the scheduled programming. The name of this channel is Sir Devoir. It's a combination of Gardevoir's Japanese name, Sir Knight, and the US name, Gardevoir. As of Generation 6 and the introduction of the Fairy type, Gardevoir replaced Venusaur as my all-time favorite Pokemon. And by Sun and Moon, the Fairy type itself became my favorite type. So it's no surprise that anytime I see a Fairy type trainer in the games, a part of me gets very excited to see them. With Legends Arceus on the way and the old staple of Pokemon games taking a hiatus, we are left with only 4 major Fairy type trainers: Valerie, Mina, Opal, and Bede. Of those 4 trainers, Opal is by far my favorite. Let me explain. Opal was the former gym leader of the Balonlea gym. Her uniform number 910 can be read as Kyuto or cute. To me, that's a pretty odd Goroawase to give Opal, but it probably has to do with her younger days and the choice of the Fairy type. She took over the gym from her mother a whole 70 years ago at the age of 18. In Sword and Shield, she's a whopping 88 years old at the time of her retirement, which she mentions in her trial. She was also known as the oldest gym leader in Galar. I don't know if this meant presently or just overall in general. She might also be the oldest gym leader we've ever had. I'm not quite sure. We might have some Elite 4 members that are older, but I don't think we have any gym leaders that are over the age of 88. Another interesting thing to mention is that she's lost to Mustard, one of the former champions, in an attempt to become the champion herself. This gets me thinking that she potentially was a strong contender back then, like how Raihan is to Leon in the modern day. And as we all know by now, she had finally found her successor in Bede. Even so, she's still actively training him even into the postgame. Opal's favorite color is purple, despite her obsession with the color pink. That's one of her interesting eccentricities that make her such a curious character. You can tell well in advance that Opal is a strong trainer because of her trickery. Her personality in the game also shines the brightest when she starts to ask you a series of trick questions. For example, she starts by asking about what types Fairy is weak to. Then, she asks the name of one of the trainers you just faced. Then out of nowhere, she asks you what she ate for breakfast, and thank God it's a multiple choice question. Yes, the next few questions are funny too, but right here we have all we need. She lulls you in with an easy question, then puts you on your toes by asking for a trainer's name. Now you're being attentive. Then, she knocks you flat on your back by asking you something you couldn't have possibly have known. Opal operates on the belief that in order to truly understand someone, you have to see how they behave in a pinch. That's most likely the pink she looks for in people, that true color. I find her very fascinating. She has no problem dismantling people or taking control. But unlike someone like Nessa or Bay, who are conventionally strong, Opal has no problem using her words before force. In an old interview, she stated, "Keep thinking about the right answer, and eventually, you'll create the right answer." Thinking about that, she isn't really rigid despite her impulsive behavior. I mean, she literally abducts Bede and forces him to follow her lead, but he isn't necessarily a weak-willed guy. Surely he handled it very well and sort of came into his new role. But at the same time, she could be just as cruel by nature, and Bede is just about the right guy for the job. I want to believe that, after realizing the limits of her own style, she's trying to find someone who can learn from her and then go beyond that. Perhaps she believes Bede has that potential. I think it's important to note that Bede's uniform number 908 can be read as Goroawase for Kureba, meaning clever. If you take into account that Opal is a trickster who tries to see the true colors of others, I think Bede might have a knack for that. I wonder if all of that came across well. Well, I always do wonder if people get what I'm saying. Opal is probably the most fun gym leader in the game for me. Aside from Piers and Raihan, she's the only gym leader that turns the whole formula on its head. If she asked to train me, I would give her a big old yes. I think she'd make an amazing teacher. If so, how about this? If you could be trained by any gym leader in the series, who would it be? If you made it this far into the video, I want to thank you so much for watching. Remember, don't call me, please text me or leave a comment instead, and I'll see you next time.